KH Vape and SWTOR Vape here today helping me out. We're going to be doing a unboxing of the DID clone from High Desert Vapes. It's more or less first time use setup. Later on I will be doing a how to rebuild the rebuildable. But just doing a quick, simple, just kind of how to, what's everything for. As you can see, it comes with the DID clone. It's already a pre-made coil with a pre-oxidized, I believe it's a 400 by 400 mesh. I'll have to look that up. It is plastic, so just keep in mind, banana, cinnamon, any of your juices that crack tanks will crack this one too. You can actually get a DID glass tank for it from a couple websites out there. I, for one, haven't bought one or really looked into it yet, but I've seen that there are some around, so just keep that in mind. You also get just your little tiny screw, I should say a hex screw. This will kind of help you out with rebuilding it. Once you take this off, you've got 2 total posts. One of them you can have where you can fill in here, or you can keep it closed, or you can mount your coil to this post instead of this post. And then these are pretty easy, you don't really need anything for it, just your fingers, but because I like to cheat, I will use a little tiny pair of pliers, because it just makes it easier and I can twist and turn it without having any problems. So really what this is unboxing is for is just to kind of show you it, and since it's already pre-made, I'm gonna go ahead and use it as the pre-made style. It may not work as perfect, and maybe some people might not want to do it this way at first. You can, that's what it's originally intended for, is just pull it out of the box, put your juice in it, and vape away. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with it. And then of course later down the road I'll have a link in the description or right up above on how to actually rebuild them using 400 by 400 mesh and 32 gauge Kanthal wire. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it. Now the best thing is of course your syringe bottle. That's all that I use anymore really, because it's just so much easier, and especially for this. So let me just unscrew this screw so we can get in there. That was the wrong one. And I dropped it. Okay, so anyway, it's a tiny little hole. If you can't see, that is pretty tiny. So you're going to need a syringe anyway, whether it's a syringe or a syringe bottle. And luckily, I have some of my favorite bourbon and cola flavor. I'm going to go ahead and fill it up. Just want to get it in there. See, some people will say to fill them all the way up. I won't, just to not have any problems if I have this thing laying on its side. If it starts to wick too well and make a mess, I'll just fill it to about that much, and that should be pretty good. So then now we're going to go ahead and take our screw and our hex key. And I'm a little shaky today, so my apologies. And we're going to go ahead and just tighten that back down. So pretty much now filling the tank is done, but you don't want to just immediately throw this bad boy on one of your mods and just start vaping away, because it probably hasn't soaked up enough yet into the mesh. So one thing I'll do to kind of cheat with it, make it mesh a little, or make it wick a little bit faster, is just put a little bit of e-juice down the side of it, just to kind of get it moist, so it starts sucking the juice up through the pre-oxidized mesh. So the other thing, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put this on just for now, just so I can set it down for a second. put your drip tip in there. And it stands up, so that's good. What I usually do too before I vape these, and actually before I even put juice in it, which I already did, I'm just going to do it now just to show you folks. You probably want to do a test on this for the ohms just to make sure it's not too low and not too high. So with my Tesla, I'm going to go ahead and see what it is, what it's set at right now. And as you can see, I'm at 1.7 ohms. So this should be fired fine. We're going to run it at... We're just going to start off with just 3.7 volts. I'm not going to run it on the Tesla. I think the battery's getting a little low. So we're going to throw it on the Saber Touch. I'm not going to fire it just yet either. I'm just setting it on there. Just going to roll it around a little bit to get more of the mesh to wick. You can take a couple dry puffs off of it without firing it. Now before I fire it too, I will also look at how everything's glowing on it. So as you can see, so we're getting a hot spot. That's probably why it's just 1.7 ohms. We've got a hot spot at the very top of it. This is what you want to do at this point, is you want to take, if you want, find an eyeglass repair kit or something, but just get a tiny little screwdriver, and you just want to move some of these around a little bit so they can just set on that pre-oxidized mesh a little bit better. You want to make sure they're a little bit separated. Too close isn't too bad, you just don't want them touching. So I've kind of moved everything around a little bit here. Moved them up. But just overall moving them until all of them, pretty much all of them, start to glow. Let's go ahead and fire it again. Still getting a little bit of the hot spot, but I think that's just because the other ones, oh yeah, it's starting to go all the way around. Let's get a little bit more juice on there so we don't pop anything. So it's working pretty good so far. We're going to take it for a test drive. One thing, and this is pretty much your final thing after you've got it all set up, you got your juice in there, you got it wicking nice. You want to take the air hole that's on the cap. As you can see, it's kind of tiny. You want to make sure that well, I mean, it's up to you. This is how you can control some of your airflow. Is I'll usually line it up with the wick, or with the mesh, just so it gets direct airflow onto it. And as you can see, it's pretty close. But that's the nice thing about rebuildables. You can move this around. It does loosen it up a little bit, but there's an O-ring in there to keep this on tight enough. So if you do loosen it, you're still getting a little bit more airflow, and you can control it. So let's go ahead and take a puff off this, and we'll call it a day. There you go. It tastes just like bourbon and cola, and it's a lot cleaner than with something that's using silica wicking. Though silica wicking's not as bad, there's just, to me, a different taste. We'll take one more toot. And there you go. It's vaping pretty good. But again, thank you, and thanks for watching our videos. Please subscribe and like this video. Thanks again. VapeSW.com.